Appalachian sunrise.
Welcome back to another writing vlog.
My skin.
Come here, baby.
Even with my eyes still closed.
Welcome back to another writing vlog, guys. Today we're doing something a little different from the novel whip that I've been working on. That first draft is finished and is now resting. Where are you going? Anyway, that first draft is resting and we're working on a short story challenge. This is the NYC Midnight Short Story Challenge that you may have seen me mention in other videos. So unfortunately it is too late to enroll in that, but they have them annually. The short story challenge kicked off on January 24th. That was Friday at 11:59 EST. So I got my prompt at 10:59 and it is, what is today? It's the 26th, so it's already been a couple days into the challenge. I was hoping to update you guys each day, but unfortunately that's just not how things worked out with my schedule. Athena, can you relax, please? As you can see, we got a new couch. We got on the Wayfair like end of year sale and got ourselves like a really nice modular couch. I love this green corduroy. It matches our apartment better, and there's just, we can actually both sit on it. Before we had a love seat and only like one of us and the dog could fit on it at a time. So I did want to update you guys on how the writing challenge is going so far, reveal the prompts that I got. If you follow me on Instagram, I've been better about updating there on my stories. I was really nervous about the prompts because writing a short story is already hard enough, but if you get bad prompts for yourself, or challenging prompts I should say, then it's like struggle bus all the way. But I really love the prompts that I got this year. So for my 3 prompts, I had thriller for a genre, subject preventative, and character and inventor. And the first thing I did on the 24th in the evening was open up a document and just start brainstorming. And let me tell you, I had so many ideas for these prompts. Like, there's so many directions. Like, this is a really good one. And I feel really lucky that this was my first one. And then yesterday, Saturday, the 25th, I spent most of the day starting to outline, doing some research into my characters, set the scene a little bit. And that was only after I felt really drawn to one of those ideas and I let that sit and incubate a little bit on what I wanted to pursue. I'm not doing this as cleanly as I thought. I was gonna try and make myself outline everything all at once before I started writing. I've definitely been jumping back and forth between researching, outlining, and writing. And I haven't done a ton of progress on outlining or writing, but in terms of research I feel really good about it. Like, I feel like I have a backstory for these characters. I know who my characters are. I've committed to a POV for now, but we'll see if that changes once I revise. But in terms of like actually getting words on the page, I am moving super slow. I'm putting a lot more thought into it than I was when I was drafting my novel. And I think that's one, because it's a short story, 2, it's a short story challenge and I don't have as much time as I'm giving myself for my novel. Like, my novel, I can work on it for years before I show anybody, versus this short story challenge, I have 8 days to outline it, write it, revise it, line edit it. My struggle with short stories is that you need to think of them as like a singular event that is happening. And my brain always wants to go off into like novel style, full length, long story. So as I'm trying to outline a plot, I have to keep like reeling it back in and reminding myself, stick to this single event. But I guess that's why I've heard people say short stories are a great place to test out novel ideas. So what I'd like to do today is to try and push through that first outline, get all those beats that I've laid out for myself filled in. So before I jump into doing my outlining work, I'm actually going to turn the camera off for this because I'm finding it easier to work on this without the camera, but I do want to fill you guys in on updates and progress along the way. The outlining structure that I have found, it's called the ABBA ABCE outline, and that stands for action, background, development, conflict, exposition. So this is the sequence that your story should kind of take. Of course, that doesn't determine whether you're doing a linear or non-linear, but it's saying start your short story off with an inciting incident, an action. Give us some background so that we're intrigued, then lay some development for your story, what's happening right now, lean into that conflict, and then give us that exposition. How is it ending? Wrap it up for us. It's going to make sure that I stick to this one event instead of letting myself go off into a million directions and make the story too large. So here's the template for that. Go ahead and screenshot that. I am gonna try and share cleaner snippets of how I filled out my outline, but right now I'm doing this very messy because this is the first time that I'm doing this. So to spare you guys that confusion, we won't be doing this live right now, but one of my updates, I would like to show you how I filled in this outline in a cleaner manner than I have done so right now, because I'm just throwing in all these notes and ideas and brainstorming, and then I'll go on a little tangent here for backstory, and I'm jumping around a lot. But it's just practice. I think the more I do this, the more you do this, like the easier it gets. And I don't have an author writing website at the moment, but I do think I'd like to share the full story with you guys. If you'd be interested in reading it, maybe I'll start a Substack, or maybe I will start the author website, I don't know. Because the other thing about this challenge is you own the story. Like, just because you wrote it and submitted it for this, if it's not like the winning story, it doesn't get published. But we'll see, because I might also want to submit it for publication. So we'll see, but some way, somehow, I'd like to share this story with you guys. It is already closer to 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. than I would like it to be. So I'm gonna go get started on this story, and I will try and update you guys later today. So a little update while I wait for my lunch to heat up in the microwave. This morning I've been in more of a drafting phase than an outlining. So I spent the morning writing instead of outlining, and I'm already at a little over 700 words, which is crazy to me, again, how slow my word count is going by, but I only have 2,500 words max. And because I'm writing a thriller, those tend to be longer. So I really need to make it count. I'm already getting close to that 1,000 word mark. But I have a couple more things that need to happen in the scene, and I know that I need to expand the prose and add some more details here and there. So I'm trying to be as cautious as possible with my words without freezing up, I guess. Oh, my battery's gonna die, so I need to change that out really quick on this camera. Okay, let's continue with this update. So I've decided to go, oh no, now that battery says it's low. Oh crap, okay, let's try and do this fast. So I've decided to go with a sci-fi thriller. So some key ideas that I'm hashing out with this story is AI robot, feminine rage, inheritance. Okay, my other battery died, so let's try again. We're not having the best of luck with filming today, apparently. As I was saying, key themes. I'm thinking a 70s vibe, like that was like the start of Silicon Valley, Apple, some semiconductor company kind of was like the birth of Silicon Valley in California at that time. And I want this inventor to be like way ahead of the time so that like what he invents is like a big secret. In terms of that preventative subject, I'm thinking that he invents so he can get his inheritance. I'm making it so that he has to be married. And this inheritance is like a last will and testament. It's not a trust fund. What am I saying? So he's trying to prevent himself from losing his inheritance, but then to double down on that preventative subject, I want it to be preventing his secret from getting out. So
he needs to keep his wife from exposing herself. Other ideas that were like, oh, preventative medicine, or maybe like something solar punk that this inventor creates. But the thing about a thriller is that you need a clear antagonist and protagonist. And I was like, well, who would the antagonist be? And of course there are options, there are always other options, but this is the one that's coming to me most clearly. And I've always enjoyed and wanted to write like AI robot stories. Like I love Ex Machina. I love what was the HBO series? Westworld. Love Westworld. I love the movie Her. It's all about like the advancement of AI and how human it is. And so I've always wanted to write something like that, and it's an idea I keep coming back to and love exploring. But I'm excited to embed more of that 70s vibe. But I want to integrate more details that aren't as obvious, like avocado green, fashion choices, interior design, and things like that. So I am spending some time as I write researching some of these things, and I'm listening to a lot of Nico and other 70s vibe playlists as I write. I am going to double check myself on the outline at some point, but in terms of the ABD, I think I'm doing okay, and I think I'm starting to get into that C point right now. It feels like it's happening very quickly, but then 2,500 words isn't a lot, and we need to make sure that those words are really packing an emotional punch and doing some heavy lifting. I'll try and check back in later. Hopefully my camera batteries will be charged. I feel like YouTube and writing have kind of taken a back seat the past few weeks since the coffee shop has been open. So it's nice to spend time doing this, and I can definitely tell because neither of my camera batteries are charged. Alrighty, so I have finished the first draft and now we're letting it rest, and we are sitting at 1,516 words, which means I have about 1,000 words of wiggle room to add in details and some missing description, which I know is happening since I'm an underwriter. So what I'm gonna do now is let it rest for a little bit. I need to do some chores around the house. We're just gonna have pizza for dinner, so I'm gonna put that order in. And then I'm actually gonna let my fiance read the first draft, which is something I don't really let people do. But I really wanna know if I'm headed in the right direction with this story. I'm gonna have him read it and give me a vibe check, because he's not really a writer, and in the past whenever I've had him give me feedback, he's usually like, it's good, and I'm like, what's good about it? So we'll see. We just went on a walk after I finished writing, so she's definitely ready for some playtime, so I need to give her some attention. I need to do some chores, and I'll order dinner. So we'll see if I work on this anymore tonight, but I'm happy with it so far. It's only the 26th, have until February 1st. I'm not in a crunch time yet. I'm not super worried about it, but we'll see how long revision takes. Yeah, I think I want to call this the Valley of Heart's Desire, because that was the old name for Silicon Valley in the 1800s, early 1900s, because it was full of like these abundant fruit orchards. I think that ties in pretty nicely with things that are happening in the story, and it's just another reference to the setting, Silicon Valley. It is the evening of the 27th, Monday. Just gave the entire day really to let the story rest while I did work and other things. Last night I had my fiance read my story and give me some feedback, and we kind of narrowed it down and agreed that we kind of need to go back to the beginning and provide a little bit more background on the character and why she's so upset later in the story. We kind of need to build on that a little bit more. And then I just need to go back through the story in general and add more show less tell, because it's very to the point and it needs more, I don't want to say flowery language, but it needs more description. We've got plenty of time. Hello again. It is Wednesday. I did not vlog at all yesterday, but I did work on my story. So yesterday I went like full send on revisions, but I added some things in there that I felt needed to be in there to help the flow of things. I rearranged some of the things. Hopefully the impact is a little bit bigger since it's a thriller. And I did work on some prose line level stuff as well as, you know, the copy edits. So it felt weird jamming that all into one revising session. Hello. Okay, so she's just gonna be in my personal space because she's a Velcro dog as we continue this update. So it did feel kind of strange to do all 3 of those revisions in one revision setting, and I don't know how well I did because of that. But I am currently waiting on feedback from my friend who's also doing the competition. I fell asleep last night before I could send it to her, so I sent it to her this morning. But of course, like, the workday happens, but she's not wrapped up with that yet because she's in a different time zone. So she hasn't had a chance to read it yet. So I think I'm just gonna have to like sit and wait. It's only Wednesday though, and it's not due until Friday evening, so I do have time. It just feels weird. Like, I really enjoyed coming home and just working on this short story, and this is exactly what I needed to get some distance from my longer whip, my novel project. And this is turning out to be great practice for when I have to revise that book. I mean, it'll be a much bigger project and it'll take a lot longer to do, but this just felt like the perfect little trial run to just see what it feels like to turn around and revise and fix your own work. But it's been very encouraging for me to see how my work has transformed from that first draft level writing to the next draft, later drafts. So today is Friday, January 31st. My story is due February 1st, but okay, she keeps barking in the background. I feel like I'm in a good place with it. I'm not really sure what other changes to make with it, so I'm gonna do one more read through. I'm kind of like halfway through that read through, and then I think I'm gonna submit it. I'm just gonna double check my formatting, making sure I'm hitting all those things correctly, and then we'll send it off. Okay, I have officially submitted my story. Did that around like 1:30-ish when it was slow at the coffee shop. I had some downtime, so I just read through that and submitted it. Super exciting. It ended up being a total of 1,580 words. See if I make it to the second round or not. There are 5,000 some people in this current contest, and then we're in 210 groups. We're all divided into those different groups, so some of us have the same prompt. The top 5 from each group. So from those 210 groups, they select 5 stories from each group. So we'll see. I don't know if my story is good compared to other writers. I don't know who my competition is. I'm happy with what I wrote, and I think I'm actually gonna share some of the first lines with you guys and just give you guys a taste of that. Okay, welcome to my desk. So the title of the story is The Valley of Heart's Desire, and here's the synopsis. In 1970s Silicon Valley, California, a stay-at-home wife attempts to leave her husband after she discovers he's been disloyal in their home. While gathering her personal belongings, she discovers an even bigger secret he's been keeping from her. So as a recap, my genre is thriller, character and inventor, and subject is preventative. Okay, I think I know what line I'm gonna stop at.